But thank you so much for having me. My name is Kleinschmidt. So glad I found out the meeting was tonight, because I was actually going to show up this morning. I was talking to Wayne, and he said, yeah, we used to get the coffee going about 6:30, 6:45, and then we start right about 7. So I was like, it's got to be 7 a.m., right? So at the end of our phone call, I think I realized that it was 7 p.m. So I would have been very lonely. But thanks for having me here. I wish I would have known about this group before I started my adventure here. I probably could have learned a lot from you guys, and I'll probably learn a lot from you guys tonight, because I'm just a little kid from Tampa that had this idea and just kind of went along with it. And you said this group started in 1983?
Yeah.
I was born in 82, Wayne.
Well, then you could have taken advantage of it from the very beginning.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've lived in Tampa pretty much my whole life. I've been here since 2nd grade, and as long as I can remember, I was talking to my brother the other night. We was kind of discussing doing the speech for you guys, and I was saying, you know, how long have Mom and Dad made us work for what we want, work for money? And we remember washing cars when my brother was probably in 4th grade and I was in 2nd grade. And growing up, we never knew that my parents and my grandparents had money. They did, but they never let us know. So if we wanted something, they said, well, how you gonna pay for it? So my dad taught us at a young age, you gotta work for what you want. And I think that's kind of where my entrepreneurship started. And we washed a lot of cars and made a lot of money in Boyette Springs and Riverview. And my dad taught us how to sell a car wash. So we'd go up to the door and we'd say, Rick, we noticed that your car is super filthy. When would you like us to wash it? You got to think. My brother's in 4th grade, I'm in 2nd grade, and we're going door to door. But that's kind of where the entrepreneur spirit started for me, and we transitioned that into a lawn mowing service. We transitioned that into anything and everything you can imagine to try to make money. Graduated from Riverview High School. Went over to UCF, actually, in Orlando. I actually thought I wanted to do the news business. So I was telling Wayne earlier, I went for radio, television, broadcasting. And I have a great face for radio. I know what you're going to say. I did my internship at Fox 13 in Tampa and realized that wasn't what I was passionate about. I still wanted to be the kid that went door to door washing people's cars. So I said, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to work for myself. I want to start my own business. So didn't have enough money to do that. So I fell back on my minor, which was marketing. And I started with Sea-Doo right out of college, and I traveled all over the country demoing different Sea-Doo products. And long story short, we did sports and entertainment marketing. So we cross-promoted different products with different sporting events. So I said, man, I love this, but I really want to save up enough money to do my own thing. I still had that in my head. So I always liked to work out, right? So when I was on the road, I could never find a consistent gym to work out at. So I found Anytime Fitness. Right? And no, this is not a pitch for Anytime Fitness, but went to Anytime Fitness and I said, man, this is awesome. I said, you can join one gym and then you can go to California and work out there. So your key fob will work at all the gyms. So I started talking to some of the owners. I was like, if these guys can do it, I can do it. So I saved up enough money and got off the road, and I started my very first Anytime Fitness in Riverview and expanded from 1 to 4 Anytime Fitnesses. And that's pretty much what I do for my day job. Is Anytime Fitness. I work for myself. My wife and I have been doing it for years. We love it. But I'm kind of ADD and I can't sit still. So I've always had different ideas and different things and this. So along with the gyms, I also flip homes and build homes with my wife. She's a realtor. I work with Rick on several different projects here and there. We got a really cool product. We signed a deal with a master distributor in New York. Excited about that one. But I had this idea when my daughter was going through potty training. And what was happening is, even after she was potty trained, she was really tall and skinny. So she kept falling through the hole of the toilet seat, right? She kept falling in. And she was getting scared to go to the bathroom. So I started thinking, and I said, man, could this work? Will this work? And I wish I would have known about a group like this, because, you want me to start over?
Yeah.
I can start over.
We just started.
Yeah, let me just rewind here about 15 minutes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Come join us. I thought it started at 6:45 a.m., so don't feel too bad. So yeah, I wish I would have known about a group like this, because I went all in for the patent, the trademark, all this stuff before I did any research. Like I said, I can probably learn a lot from you guys, but I'm just going to tell you about my experience on Shark Tank. I used to love watching Shark Tank. I always loved it, and I said, you know what? I got this, and all I had at the time, I printed out this sign, and I had a homemade toilet seat that my dad and I made in our garage. It was made out of wood, a little bit of resin, and some tape. So I said, what the hell? Am I allowed to say hell in the library? Maybe not. So they had an open casting call down in Miami, and this was, man, 4 or 5 years ago. I told my wife, you know, what's it gonna hurt? Like, all they're gonna tell me no, right? I've been chasing my wife before she said yes for like 10 years, and she told me no many times. So she got me prepared for that. But I said, you know, they gotta pick somebody, why not me? So I went down there, and the line, I'll never forget. I pulled up, and the line was around the convention center like twice. And I was about midway through the line, and I started talking to some people, and I said, you know what? For some reason, I feel like I want to go in the back of the line. So I strategically moved myself to the very back of the line, thinking I could get a little bit more time with the casting directors. So that's exactly what I did. So I sat there all day long and talked to people and learned a ton about everyone's invention. And a couple times I was like, I think I'm going to get in my car and go home because my product is nowhere near where these people are. All I had was a prototype. That was it. So I'm last in line. I go in, and it's a room probably about as big as these tables are, and you go, and probably where you guys are from Indiana, it's probably how far you are away, and they say pitch, and you got about 60 seconds. And you know, they say a great product, you should be able to describe it in about 60 seconds. So I actually wrote the pitch as I was driving down to Miami. You know, I think I still have it somewhere. I'll play it later. But I was recording the pitch when I was driving down there, and I was like, does this sound good? Does this sound good? So I went in there, pitched it, and my pitch went something like this. Easy Peasy appears and operates as a normal adult-sized toilet seat, but with a simple flip of the lid, converts to a child-sized seat, making potty training easy peasy. And I knew, like, they both started smiling. I was like, I think they liked it. They're either pretending or they liked it. So that started the whole Shark Tank process. Just to kind of give you guys a number to put your head around, they say about 100,000 people try out for Shark Tank every single year. Then they narrow that down to about 1,000 people. Then about 150 go out to LA and they film, and then probably about 80 of those actually air. So even some of the ones that go in the tank and film, they don't ever air. They film twice a year, and believe it or not, they do all those pitches in 2 weeks. So all those sharks get together for 2 weeks and do that. And you got to think, each pitch is about an hour long, some even more. We'll get to that. So a lot of back and forth with casting directors, with the production company, all this stuff. And then finally they called up and they said, all right, you're pitching next week. And I was like, what? Like, I mean, my outfit picked out, I don't know what I'm going to do. So they flew me out to LA, and I went for it. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life. And I told you, I've done some crazy things in my life. Years before that, I did Amazing Race. Anybody ever watch Amazing Race? So years ago, I did Amazing Race. I've done some crazy things in my life, but this was the most nerve-wracking time I had ever experienced in my life. So you sit in this waiting room with about 10 other people, and once again, I was the last one to go. It was almost like going back to the casting back in Miami. I didn't plan this. They made me sit all day. And the guy ahead of me went for 2 hours. One before was like an hour. So I was there for like 10 hours. I probably went to the bathroom 20 times, right? Just memorizing my pitch over and over. And then they finally said, all right, Brian, you're up. I said, what, now? Really? So, yeah, so what it is, it's just like you see in the show. It's a super long hallway with these digital graphics of sharks, like on the TV screen, right? And you literally just walk down the hallway without hopefully falling on yourself. And then these big doors swing wide open, and all the sharks are sitting right in front of you. And you would think that you would just go up there and you would start pitching, right? What they do, they make you stand there for like 60 seconds. It felt like about 30 minutes. So you just stand there, and they get like these shots, like fake reaction shots, and you just stand there looking at the sharks like this. And then the casting, or the director of the show just says, begin. And you're like, okay, let's do it. So we did it, but what's really crazy is the room is almost like this. So the judges are all here, and then the whole production crew is over here. I would say there was 35 or 40 people in that entire room. So you're not just pitching to the sharks in front of you, you have the entire like production company here. So completely nerve-wracking, but also super fulfilling and a ton of fun. I was actually in there for over an hour, and what's a little frustrating is they edited it down to about 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know if anybody saw my episode, Anybody?
I have either seen it or I have seen.
Are you a customer? Did you buy one yet?
I've seen your product because I was researching something.
Oh, good. Well, if you have any kids, I have one to give away. So if you're paying attention, I'm going to do a trivia question. All right, you might get this one.
Thanks.
You excited?
I'm excited. I am excited because all my grandchildren, I've got two, they're still potty training.
Perfect.
Not even there yet, almost.
You're the right customer for it. Yeah, say peas. So it was super nerve-wracking, but the way they edited it down, and I knew this from my radio television days at UCF. I did my internship at Fox 13. I knew about editing. Wayne and I talked about editing earlier. I knew editing was involved in Shark Tank. I didn't know it was this much involved. So when I watched it back, 3 years ago is actually when it aired, a little over 3 years ago now, I watched it and I was like, hold on a second, that wasn't the reaction that I made when they said that comment. Like, they made me look like I said that. So it was a little frustrating doing that. And I have still to this day, I have only watched it one time. I watched it the original night it aired, and I said, all right, that's the first and last time I'm ever going to watch it. I wound up not getting, yeah, thanks a lot. I wound up not getting a deal from the Sharks. Lori actually almost bid on it. She loved the idea. She was kind of going back and forth in her head. And I remember Robert was over here, and he just kept saying, he said, Brian, you've done a great job of coming up with a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. And I kept saying, no, this is a problem. I potty trained my daughter, like, maybe you haven't done this in a while. I'm a fighter. I tried anything and everything to keep that going. But what I've learned in life is sometimes things just aren't supposed to happen, or they're not supposed to happen at that time. So that was not meant to be. I was asking for $50,000 for 15%, and I'll explain why what I've got now is so much better. But this is actually the toilet seat I took on Shark Tank with me. And so all this is a 3D print. I didn't have any molds. I didn't have anything. I literally went in there with an idea. And I don't know how long you guys have watched Shark Tank. I used to love Shark Tank season like 1, 2, and 3, when you could go in with an idea like this, and they would fund an idea. I don't even watch a show anymore because they want products that are making millions of dollars already, and then they're just going to pour a little gasoline on it and it blows up. I really feel like season 1, 2, like when Kevin Harrington was on the show, I think they would have done something with this. So anyways, that's just that. Oh, and this will give you perspective. So you guys have probably worked with 3D printing in your inventions, I'm assuming. This 3D print. Somebody take a guess at how much this cost me to take this on Shark Tank.
I was going to say, how many pieces is that?
It's two.
That's just one solid piece.
This is one solid piece, and then this is.
Where did you have it?
You probably paid somebody about $400 or $500.
Oh my gosh!
At least.
Somebody want to take another guess?
$5.
No. Somebody want to take a real guess?
$5,000.
$4,500.
I was going to say
No
$4,000,
way.
like about $4,000.
$4,500.
That's
This
I'd
cost
have
me.
done it a lot less for you.
I see. I wish I would have known you. But Kevin O'Leary actually sat his ass cheeks on that. So
So you haven't watched it since then? Or?
yeah, I haven't watched it since. You want to see something crazy? This is my very first 3D print, and I'm worried that even at they did like a living hinge. This one was probably about $500-600 bucks. But so, anyways, it kind of shows you. It started out kind of on a napkin, and then to cardboard, then to this, then to that, and then I'll show you the finished product here in a minute. But wound up not getting a deal from the show. But the exposure that you get from Shark Tank will blow your mind. My website crashed the first night it aired. And then on CNBC, they always replay the reruns. And every time those reruns air, my website blows up. And the response and the feedback I was getting from America was like, oh my God, they're so wrong. This is a great idea. It was awesome because it gave me, even though I've been rejected before and I've fallen down and I've failed so many times in other avenues of my life, it just gave me the motivation and encouragement to just keep on going. I keep on going. Shark Tank didn't work out for a reason, but it was just the next stepping stone to get me where I needed to go next. So my emails were going crazy. I had people from California saying, hey, I'll give you the $50,000. And then I call them up and say, hey, man, I saw you wrote, you can give me the $50,000. Like, what's your expertise? Oh, I just have the money. I don't really know how to help you. Because I had the $50,000 to do it. The gyms were doing well. I just needed somebody with the expertise. So I landed a guy in New York, and Rick knows him. His name is Jack, and the guy's huge, master distributor, and he does every single type of product imaginable. And thought I had a great thing going with him. Worked with him for about a year or two developing it. His engineers, believe it or not, this thing is more engineering than you would ever imagine. A toilet seat, right? When the kids sit on it, you would never know. But what happened right about when we were getting to the finish line to launch the product was his partner with his company declared a shotgun clause in their agreement. I had no idea what that was. So a shotgun clause is basically one partner can buy out the other partner. So that's what happened. So one partner bought out my guy Jack, who loved the product. The other guy didn't want to go that route, and here I am back at square zero, right at square one. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I had some sleepless nights, and I'm sure you guys do too with your products. You're like, oh my God, I felt like I was so close, and now I'm hitting another wall. I'm going this way, I hit another wall this way. My encouragement is to just keep on going, because I'll tell you what happened next. I knew it was still a great idea. I had so much money into it, and I said, wow, if I stop right now, I really do lose all that money. So I have to keep on going. My wife does, she's not here, but she doesn't know quite all the receipts that piled up for this. I'm sure, yeah, some of you laughing probably hide receipts too, but
We're recording.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it got really expensive and really scary, but I kept on going. So I started really kind of thinking, and I went back to my days of hustling, car wash door to door, mowing lawns door to door, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna start knocking door to door. So I said, let me start in my backyard here. So I know Kevin Harrington spoke to you guys before in the past, and he's our neighbor here. He lives in St. Pete. His company's based out over there, and I said, he was an original shark on Shark Tank. I said, what the hell? I'm gonna try it. So I went over there, knocked on the door, not much happened. Called several times, not much happened. I'm not a big social media guy, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna start following this guy on Twitter, right? So I opened up a Twitter account and started following this guy. I'm not exaggerating. The very first day I started following him, he posted a video. And he said, if you have any product in the baby space, I want to introduce you to Locker Innovations. And you need to approach them. If you have anything in the baby space, they are the kings of the baby space. They will make your product fly. So I was like, this must be a sign or something. So I called Locker Innovations. They're actually up in Duluth, Minnesota. And just called the number out of the blue, and the guy picked up the phone. His name was Mike. And I said, hey, Mike, I got referred to you by Kevin Harrington. He's, oh, how do you know Kevin? We go way back. My dad's name is Kevin. So started talking to him. It turns out I hit it off with this guy right away. Check this out for fate, right? So he started asking me, he said, well, you don't do toilet seats full time. What do you do? I said, well, I run some Anytime Fitness gyms. And he said, oh my gosh. He said, I am like best friends with the founders of Anytime Fitness. Remember when I told you this? So this guy used to be a professional racquetball player, and he was the racquetball coach at Chuck and Dave, who founded Anytime Fitness at their very first club. Crazy. Like, what are the chances of that? So we kind of hit it off there. He loved the idea. Right from the get-go, he loved the idea. He said, it's all going to come down to manufacturing. He said, if we can make it for cheap enough, we'll do it. He said, we love it. We think you're a great guy. We talked to Chuck and Dave about you. You know, you're up to date on your franchise fees. So, so I sent him up the prototype, and I sent him up some CAD drawings I had. And he sends it over to his factory in China. And he called me probably about 2 or 3 months later. It took longer than I thought. And he said, Brian, we love the idea. And I'm like, yes. I said, this is it. This is what I was waiting for. He's like, but with 2 T's. It's way too expensive to manufacture. They said it's going to be $22 per toilet seat to make. And he said, by the time we ship and package, we're going to have to sell these things for $80. And I don't think my parents will buy it for $80. So I said, damn. I said, here we are again. We hit another brick wall. So I got to figure out something else. So once again, I had so much invested into it. I said, you know what? I got to go for it. So I found a factory in China after several different attempts. I found a toilet seat. No, they do toilets. They do all bathroom fixtures. Anything to do with the bathroom, they do. So I reached out to them, invested in a mold out of my own money. And yeah, I went for it. And I was able to get the cost down to more than half of what his factory could do. Yes, sir?
I'm sorry to stop you, but why is that?
Why is...
Because I'll go to one manufacturer and they'll say, oh, it's going to cost $100 each to make these things. Go to somebody else, it's going to cost $35. It's like,
I think it's because My master distributor, they've never done anything like this. They have more like fabric items.
Yeah.
So their factory wasn't used to doing something like this. So I found a factory that this is all they do. And I got to check this out. I interviewed a couple different factories. I had molds ranging from $100,000 to $32,000. I got this mold for 32 grand. That's what I made it for. So I got the cost down to like $10 and change plus packaging. I'm all in a little over $11 on this thing. And I went back to Locker Innovation. I went back to Mike and I said, look, I've been working my ass off for about a year. I said, I've been working my ass off. I said, I'm ready. Are you guys ready? You told me if I can get this cost down to what you need it to be, you'll do it.
Did they give you that? Did they give you a set target to get down to?
They told me they needed to be right around that for all their margins to make sense. Yeah. Especially, they've been a supplier for Walmart for 20-something years, so they know what the prices need to be. So I got it down, and he said, Brian, he said, I never thought we would hear from you again. He said, you're a go-getter, I can tell, we love it, and we still love the product, so let's make it happen. So that's kind of where Easy Peasy was born. Yes, ma'am. You're still going to get this, don't worry.
I know, I'm going to ask you a question about,
it spins on your finger, too.
Did you have to jump through any hoops for safety reasons? Like the fact that a kid would fall off the toilet and all that crappy thing?
Yeah, so like I said, the factory I'm working with now, that's all they do. They do, like I said, they do baby seats, they do everything. Okay. So they've tested this all out, the kind of plastic they use, they've tested everything. So yeah, it's pretty extensive testing that they do. But this is easy peasy, folks. So I designed this packaging. I spent more time on the packaging than I think I did on the actual product. So I'm pretty proud of it. So make sure you ooh and ah when I show you this. So I wanted to make sure that when this is on the shelf, that the package actually does what the seat does.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I look so excited, sir.
I think it's a fabulous idea because wherever I saw it, maybe it was on YouTube. Is there a YouTube presentation?
Yeah.
I thought, you don't have all that extra crap sitting in your bathroom like my children do.
You get it.
I thought it was excellent.
You're going to get it, so stop sucking up to it.
Okay.
So this is easy peasy. As you see, the packaging is turned out really incredible. So I'll show you how the final product turned out. I was telling Rick, I just trademarked this. One seat for every butt E. You like that, Mr. Pun. Yes, ma'am, you got a question while I take this out?
Can you train a cat or dog?
I haven't tried that yet. You probably could. It's like popping a bottle of champagne every time I open one of these.
That was on Shark Tank too.
Sounds good.
The cat potty seat.
City Kitty.
Yeah.
She actually came back with another product, and they bid on that one too. Yeah, that was early on though, like when Kevin was still on there. But this is easy peasy. Couldn't be more proud of it. I worked my tail off to get it to where it is.
How many years start to finish?
Oh my gosh. So I was going to tell you about some funny dates, and I don't believe in coincidence, and I don't believe it. I think things happen the way they're supposed to.
That's
Yep.
that happens.
So my episode of Shark Tank aired October 16th, 2015. So this is just recently launched in October of 2018. Guess what day? October 16th. So if you go on Amazon, so it's available on Amazon right now, selling very well on Amazon. The first date it was available was October 16th, exactly 3 years. That's incredible, right? Selling like crazy on Amazon. I remember the first week or so that it had launched. My master distributor called me and he said, "Hey Brian, congratulations, we hit over 500 for the day." I was like, $500? That's awesome. 500 pieces, 500 freaking toilet seats in one day. Now we're not doing that every day. We have 40, 50 days mostly. The other day I was telling Rick we had 100 sold on Amazon. But yeah, it turned out really cool. So completely seamless on top, so the adults never feel a thing. And like you said, you don't want to fumble. If you have an older son or daughter and a little child potty training, they don't want to fumble with the toilet seat on and off and cleaning this.
And Grandma can have it at her house for.
My mom's got one of hers
easy,
for her
right?
grandkids. Yeah, my daughter. Yeah. Flips back, and then when the kid's done, it flips back, and then it locks in place. So when the older brother or dad needs to go, they lift up the whole thing. And then everything is on a slow, it's hard to show here, but it's a slow closing seat and a slow closing lid.
Yes.
The coolest part of this thing, when you get it home, you'll see, the way this thing attaches will blow your mind. So there's two little holes here, and there's two pegs that load from the top side of the toilet bowl. So the pegs stick up, and then this thing just pops on it. And then when you want to clean it, you just push this button, and this whole thing releases.
Right.
That's pretty good.
So, super excited about this. We officially launched this at the ABC Kids Show out in Vegas. I don't know if anybody knows about the ABC Kids Show. If anybody has a kids product, you need to go to that show. You have one? You've been to the show?
No, I haven't. I just,
Write down ABC Kids Show. It's the most incredible show you'll ever.
It's a little tough to get into, isn't it? I recall.
Well, I really don't know. My master distributor has been going for 20-something years or whatever. So I kind of piggyback off his booth. But, I mean, there's everybody from big and small there, I mean, companies. So we got several POs from, I would say, smaller boutique baby stores. And then we got some super incredible interest from the big box stores. Now, this is something that I learned. This is me being naive, little kid from Tampa, not knowing anything about this business. I thought, hey, if you got a good idea, you take it to somebody like Walmart or Bed Bath & Beyond, and they put it on the shelf in about a week. These people plan out their calendar years 18 months in advance. So the Walmart buyer that has been, my master distributor's been in there for 20 plus years. That's a funny story I'll tell you in a minute. But they want this in their stores. Guess when this is going to be in Walmart? Q1 2020. That's how long those big box stores plan this stuff out. So currently it's available on Amazon. It's in small mom and pop retailers all over the country. Bye Bye Baby showed interest. What's another one? Lowe's, Home Depot was there. They both liked it. Walmart obviously showed interest. So it's just, it was just, the determination I had really paid off. The amount of money I put into this really paid off. So if any of you are going through any challenges, just think of me with my little toilet seat. I'm more determined than anybody. If people laugh at your idea, that might mean it's a good thing. You have no idea how many people laughed at me with this thing. I was telling Wayne, you should see me when I go through airport security with my with a toilet seat. He said, you're pretty particular about your toilet seats. Yeah, I just tell people I need my own toilet seat at the hotels. But people are going to laugh at you. And you know what? That's okay. I'm kind of a nerd. I don't really care if people laugh at me. People have been laughing at me my whole life.
It's like a piece of two things, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Toilets, 4 kinds of toilets. The short, the long, the short, and the tall. Do you have the short and the long?
Oblong and
Yeah, so
round.
currently it's just, this just fits elongated toilets.
Yeah.
And in my research, that's the majority of toilet bowls, is the elongated. Now tall and short doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, round bowls. We got people on Amazon, they're buying this, and then they're putting complaints that it doesn't fit my round bowl. Well, yeah.
Duh.
It was Rick. Rick bought one for his family. But no, yeah, it fits the elongated. We talked about opening up another mold, because the same concept will work with a circle toilet seat. We just want to get enough sales doing this before we open up another mold and do a circle toilet seat. In fact, my master distributor said, we can crank out 250 of these a day right now, and he thinks we'll open up another elongated mold before we even mess around with circle molds. There's just not enough circle. I mean, most everyone's doing this. Yes,
I
ma'am.
refuse to use a round toilet.
Well,
I can't fit on it.
Probably more new toilets are coming out elongated.
Yeah.
Most of them are elongated. That's why we went with this design. I was going to tell you about my master distributor. So his dad actually started this company. And he had a little invention called the cozy cover. And the cozy cover is a little piece of fabric, and it's like an oversized shower cap that goes over like a kid's carrier. That's all it is. And he was at a show, a baby show, 25 plus years ago. And the first person that came up to his booth was Walmart. And they said, hey, sir, we love this idea. We need 100,000 of these. Can you do 100,000? And he said, yeah, absolutely, we can do 100,000. And he's like, oh my God, how are we going to do 100,000? Sometimes I've learned in life, it's I don't know if it's lying or what, but sometimes it's okay to say, yeah, I can do that, and then try to figure it out later. You do it all the time. I know, Rick.
They didn't put a time frame on it.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a PO that big, you can get.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna figure it out, right? Yes, ma'am.
That's what I was going to ask you. You say master distributor.
Yes.
So where did you meet a master distributor, and what exactly Do they distribute for you, or?
They do. So the great thing about this is I put so much blood, sweat, tears into this. I'm completely out of this now. What I did, I wound up not doing a royalty deal. I did a profit share with them. And it wound up being so much better than anything I was ever going to get on Shark Tank or seeking on Shark Tank. And these guys know what they're doing. That cozy cover I told you about, I was telling Rick earlier, they have sold 6 million, not dollars, pieces at $30 a pop. I mean, these guys kill it with all their baby products.
And they're only baby products.
That's all they do. And I asked him, I said, why do you only do baby products? He said, well, we're really good at it. We know our space. But he said, there's 2 categories that in any type of recession or depression that parents are always going to spend, or people are always going to spend. Babies and pets, if you think about it. No matter what's happening in people's lives or the economy, people are going to spend money on babies and pets. So they just love the space and they're really good at it.
She and I waited in line in Miami as well.
You were down there with me?
Yeah.
So you probably saw me down there. Was that crazy down there or what?
It was crazy. It was fun though.
It was so wild,
And they never called me back. We didn't hear. We were like, "Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything?" No.
it's like
We
winning.
didn't hear anything.
It's like winning the lottery, and everyone says, "Oh, Brian, you're so lucky." I don't believe in luck either. I think things are supposed to happen the way they are, but yeah, for some reason, it just worked out that was my path to get my product. There's so many other ways to get your product to market. Shark Tank is just a kind of a crapshoot.
Is there any register of these distributors?
What's that?
Is there any register of these distributors, different kinds of distributors?
Is there like a list of them somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I kind of lucked upon these guys. Like I said, you heard my story, how I found these guys. I luckily found Kevin Harrington on Twitter. And if you follow Kevin Harrington on Twitter, if you rewind, you'll see the video I'm talking about baby products. And just so happened that this guy used to work with Chuck and Dave, which were owners of Anytime Fitness. And it blows my mind still to this day how fate kind of happened. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my story. I guess we'll do questions and answers. Like I said, you guys probably know more about this whole process than me, so I might ask you some questions.
Well, knockoff, don't you play to that?
Yeah, it's full utility patent. I got everything's trademarked. I just trademarked some more stuff. I trademarked. It's funny because when I pitched it to the Sharks in Miami, I had easy as 1, 2, 3, and I was like, that should be easy as 1, 2, P. So, Mr. Pun, I changed it. So now I have easy as 1, 2, P trademarked. I trademarked 1 seat for everybody. Yeah, everything's trademarked. Everything's patented, full utility patent.
Did you trademark before you did the patent?
I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I wish I would have known about a group like this way before I did this. Yeah, I did. And the problem is with doing it that route, as I kind of learned as I went through it, if you don't have an actual product, you can only extend it for so much time.
Right.
So after 3 years, you wind up just kind of losing it.
You're talking about the trademark.
Trademark.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have an unbelievable name or slogan, yeah, I would wrap it up, but make sure that you keep paying the renewal fees. But yeah, after 36 months, that's about all you can hold on to it for. Because then you have to actually show proof of it being in market. You have to show they actually sold one.
You have to do it again too, like 3 years later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to sell just one?
That's all you have to sell. You have to show one in commerce. It could be it could be to anybody. My mom was the first one who bought one, by the way. She was. Yeah.
I was going to ask.
Oh, I'm still holding this.
How much do they retail for? Because I have
So-
a nephew that's potty training.
Yeah, so if you go on Amazon right now, so
$44.95.
you got it right there. Yeah, $44.95 is what they're at, and then they're actually doing this this coupon code right now. I think is it still at 50% off?
I'm on the seller side of
Okay.
Amazon, on the buyer's
Gotcha. So what they're doing right now, they're trying this new rollout. So they did this with their other products, and what they do a 50% off coupon, and then they scale it back. They go 40, 30, 20, and that just ramps up the sales. So I was actually talking to Mike, is his name, my master distributor. They usually do about $10,000 to $15,000 every single day, and when they did this 50, 40, 30, 20% coupon, they did $48,000 in sales in one day. Blows my mind.
Just by using that technique when they...
By ramping it up.
Wow.
So they get enough people excited about it, it ramps it up. So they're doing the same thing with mine, where they're doing 50 and then they'll scale it back. But yeah, so I mean, all in with packaging and shipping, I'm at like $11.60 per unit. So I mean, there's nice margins that are built in. The sweet spot that we all kind of feel is between 30 and 35 bucks is where we want this to naturally land. There's enough margin there for everybody to make money. Yeah.
You keep on using the term master distributor.
Yeah.
Where did you get that term from?
Did I make it up? I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but they already have, they have warehousing out in Anaheim.
Right.
They've got shippers. They've got all the retail connections. They take care of all the logistics, everything.
Right.
And they have this guy in Australia that will blow your mind with search engine optimization. They have him on a $10,000 a month retainer. I didn't tell you about this guy. $10,000 a month is what they keep on retainer, and he gets a little chunk of every single sale. Right? So he's just encouraged to sell as much as he possibly can. And this guy's numbers are insane. This guy in Australia, that's all he does. I cut you off, I'm sorry.
Profit share business. You said with your master distributor, you're working a profit share
rather than a royalty
contract.
Yeah. So
Can you
the
explain
initial
how that
deal
works?
I was looking at, I was going to do a royalty deal with Jack, the guy in New York, that the shotgun clause that kind of fell apart. And
For a purpose, right?
yeah,
Better.
for some reason it didn't work out, and not sure why. But he's still a great guy. I still stay in touch with him. I'm probably going to do other deals with him. Rick and I are talking to him about other stuff. We actually did a deal. It's funny how life works out, right? His partner didn't like this, but he liked another product that we were working on, and Rick and I actually cut a deal with him. And what's the minimum he signed up for? 600,000?
Yeah, 600,000.
600,000 pieces. It's a patented paintbrush, and it's pretty cool. It's I don't know if any painters out there, but it's a 3-inch paintbrush, and it splits right down the middle with a magnet in there. So it'll be a 3-inch paintbrush, and then if you need a 2-inch, you got your 2-inch. Then if you got your 1-inch, you got that. And it sticks to the can if I need it. So we did a deal with him. His minimum was 600,000 units. I mean, those numbers just blow my mind. But he was the one that said no to this. So I never burned any bridges in life. I encourage you guys not to either. But we wound up dealing with that, and I still talk to Jack all the time. But I was going to do just a flat royalty deal with him, and me not knowing anything, I was like, it's like 10% royalty. It's like unheard of. It's more like 3, 4, if you're lucky, 5% royalty. So what I did, since I did most of the work with this, and I had a good relationship with the owners of Anytime Fitness, they kind of went to bat for me, and I'm doing a 70-30 split where they keep 70, I keep 30. And people are like, why did you give up so much of the company? I was like, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't want to manufacture toilet seats the rest of my life. I want to go on to the next idea.
I'm just like you.
I don't want to hang on to this. I know so many inventors, they have closets full of toilet seats that they have no idea how to sell.
Right.
So why don't I give up some to somebody who knows what they're doing, and I just get a little mailbox money every single month, and I'm happy, and move on to the next idea. Because honestly, without these guys, I probably would have sold a handful of these, and it would have been it. Never would have recouped my money. This would have been a closet full of toilet seats, which, by the way, I have so many prototype toilet seats in my house upstairs. When I was getting this together, my stack of toilet seats, I'm not exaggerating, it's about this tall. And my wife's like, when are we getting those toilet seats out of here? I'm like, we're saving it for the museum. This one, so I have like an upstairs game room. So I've got the bar here, I got a pool table here, and then like a little chair here. I have this on the wall in my upstairs game room. And she's like, you're such a nerd. Why do you have that up there? But
Put her picture in it.
I should. Did anybody go see Kevin O'Leary when he was in town about a month ago? Anybody go see him at the Tampa Theater? Anyways, he came, and so my wife and I are sitting in the front row. I'm not exaggerating. I've got pictures on my phone. She was sitting in the front row just holding this up the entire time he was talking. She was sitting like this.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Did he talk to you afterwards?
He's such a jerk.
He's a jerk.
He spoke for 30 minutes and then got out.
Yeah,
It is funny though. So I'm able to stay in touch with one of the sharks in a strange way. So Mark Cuban, actually, I've been able to weirdly stay in touch with him because the owners of Anytime Fitness, once again, Chuck and Dave, they're friends with Mark and they've done deals with him before. So I got asked to MC the Anytime Fitness award ceremony. It's like an annual conference every year back in September in Louisville. So I'm up there MCing, and I always pick on the owners a little bit. They pick on me. It's just fun. So when I got off the stage, Chuck went up here, and he said, Brian, we got a little surprise for you. and they played this video. It was Mark Cuban making fun of my product. He said, hey, he called me Kleinschmidt because of this. My last name is Kleinschmidt. So he said, Kleinschmidt. That's the worst product we've ever seen in the Shark Tank. He went on for like 2 minutes, like ranting and raving on me. But I've got to meet him a couple more times. I got to meet Damon John. He wasn't one of my sharks. I wish he was. I wish he were. He was there during the taping, and he remembers my product, but I didn't get to pitch to him. But yeah, I don't know. There's a tangent. So, any more questions?
You had, actually I got two. You had talked about the royalty, the 3 to 4. That was without validation at that point. So would you, I think you could have got more if you had validated and.
Probably. Honestly, I mean, when I initially was talking to this Jack guy, he actually wrote into the website. So he was the one that kind of went after me. He wrote into the website, and like I said, I had a ton of emails, and I just started filtering through them. And he said, I love your idea, I love your passion, this is who I am, I'd like to help you out. So he pursued me. So when I called him up, I didn't even know what to ask for. So I asked for like an upfront guarantee, I asked for this royalty, and then he kind of brought me back down to earth and said, realistically, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I started doing the math, I was like, oh my gosh.
Because I think I remember you did a podcast with Carmine.
Yeah.
Like shortly after.
Yeah. That was probably when I was still talking to Jack.
Yeah, that, because you had mentioned you were working on something.
Yeah. And yeah, that wound up not working out, but the deal I've got now is so much better.
Yeah.
And these guys are so nice. Like, they're just awesome, like, down-to-earth guys that I really...
Well, and you're connected, too.
Yeah. Which they're actually going to be in town next week. Oh, this is even crazier, right? You talk about fate. So they come down here all the time. They play golf with Kevin Harrington out at Stream Song. And I said, next time you're down, I said, let's meet up. I said, where are you staying? He said, oh, we're staying at my dad's house. I said, where's your dad live? They said, oh, my dad lives in Sun City Center. My parents live in Sun City Center. They live, his parents live down the street from my parents. What are the freaking chances of that happening? Small world, but like I said, I hate when people say coincidence. I don't believe in any type of coincidence that ever happens in life. So if you're going through stuff like I have, yeah, don't feel like it's just chance that it's happening. If you feel in your gut that this might make sense, go for it. And guess what? If that's not the way you're supposed to go, because when I initially was talking to Jack, in my gut, I said, this is it. Don't be worried about that. That's the wrong direction, right? You're going to go through that door. All right, it's locked. Most people just give up. Not me. I'm going to find a door. I'm going to window. I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. You have one more question over here?
I had a question. Do you have any suggestions or advice on how someone might go about finding a master distributor?
There's a bunch of them out there. I think you just have to. I don't know what your product is.
Mine's a kitchen product.
It's a kitchen product?
Kitchen tool, yeah.
My guy might be good up in New York. He's all he does is home good products.
Okay.
And he's the one that Rick and I did the paintbrush deal with. And they are in Bed Bath & Beyond. They are Walmart, everywhere imaginable. And all like my guys just focus on baby products. All these guys focus on is home good stuff.
Which you
just inside the home. Talk to Rick, yeah. Talk to Rick. Rick and I work together on different stuff, and we've got different ideas that kind of come our way, and if we can help them out. Like I said, I mean, tell them about the paintbrush guy. How many paintbrushes did that guy have in storage doing nothing?
10,000.
10,000 units. So we called my guy, and I said, he loved it. He bought all 10,000. Now he's reworking the mold in China, and he's about to go to town, and he did a 600,000 minimum paintbrushes. And he made it sound like that was nothing. To me, my small little world that I live in, I was like, 600,000 paintbrushes? Wow, like that blows my mind. But one thing I've learned doing this and the paintbrush thing and everything else in life is how big this world is. Like I said, I've spent most of my life here in Riverview and Tampa, and I used to think the world was like this big, and then I started realizing, oh my God, like there's money to be made out there. There's a lot of customers out there. Like so many entrepreneurs, I think they think they're big. I think that they think they're thinking big. That's hard to say. But I think they're thinking way too small. You have to realize this world is massive. So, but no, yeah. If you want to, you know Rick here, Rick Ho?
No,
Yeah.
but I have a card if you don't.
Yeah, and I don't know how far you guys are on your projects. Some of you are probably further than I am. I'm still trying to figure this out as I go along.
So how many iterations of design did you go through?
Oh my God. So the good thing about working with Jack is he had an unbelievable engineer. And his engineer was the one that actually figured out how to make it completely seamless on top and how it flips back and, you know, injection mold, all that stuff. This was my original one. Like I said, this is just two pieces with the piece of like elastomer going through it, and that's kind of where I was when I went on Shark Tank. So I guess the good that came out of the bag with Jack was his team figuring out how to do it. And I never officially signed the deal with him. So I probably went through, I mean, like I said, I have stacks of toilet seats in my house. I probably have 10, and I went through so much CAD design, figuring it out. But this is so much more involved than you guys would ever know. Now, when a kid sits on it, they're never going to know, or the parents sit on it. But this took so much engineering to get this thing done.
So was there any safety precautions, like a child's finger would get caught in it and snap off?
There wasn't. I mean, they tested all that. That's why it's got a slow closing main seat and lid. So they tested all that out, but nothing to prevent it from going to market to sell.
And what about insurance-wise? Did you have to buy? So we have some products that have to be UL approved, and that whole process is like
it's a
about
nightmare.
$50,000 or $60,000, and then they get you, in order to keep your UL status, you have to pay a fee every 3 months or 6 months, which is absurd. So my thinking is that you don't go down that line, you go down this line with something that you've got that you know everybody is going to like it, and they're going to want one in their kitchen or whatever.
Well, you talk about insurance. So when I was like building my own mold and getting my own containers and trying to figure out shipping and all this stuff before I ran into Mike Locker, I started looking at insurance, and I was like, how in the world am I going to afford that? So what's nice is having a big guy like that who's doing very well. I'm right under their insurance, and I'm a risk taker. I mean, I've flipped homes before. I've done anything you can imagine. I'm a huge risk taker, but I'm also practical when I come to the spot where maybe I'm not the right guy for this. I mean, I can do a lot of stuff, but I'm not gonna fake like I'm gonna do this and lose it all. So, like I said, that's why I did the deal with them, and they take care of all. They've already done it all. They put together my website. They put together everything. The privacy policy on the website. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. They have attorneys that work for them. I'm sure you guys know attorneys rack up crazy bills.
Right.
I've racked up so many going through this whole process, but it's been awesome. I mean, it's the life of the entrepreneur. I would have rather failed at least attempting this than just working some 9-to-5 job for somebody else. And I would have rather failed doing this. I told my wife all the time, I don't care if I fail. I really don't. When I lived in Nashville when I was married to my first wife, and I flipped homes up there, and I did really well, and started getting a little greedy. I've told this story. I got a little greedy when I was up there. So I did 3 homes at once, big, massive flips all at once. And this was 2007, 2008. I had all my money in these homes. I was like, it'll work out. I lost every penny I had. I will never forget this amount. I used to keep this amount in my wallet, just as a reminder. $17 is what I had down to my name. My ex-wife decided to leave me, move on. I was like, all right, what are you going to take? Half of $17? Go for it. So that's kind of when I hit the road again, doing the sports marketing thing, and that's when I got refocused, and then I went to the gym route, which is where I'm at now. But in the back of my mind, I always knew that I wanted to do real estate again because I'm so damn competitive. And I felt like that moment of my life knocked me on the ground, and I said, you know what? That part of my life beat me. I got someday in my life, I'm going to go back and beat that. So I told you I had 4 gyms. I sold one of my gyms 2 years ago for $750,000, right? Zero debt, I had nothing. So I had $750 in my pocket. I never thought about that much money. It wasn't even for sale. This guy just came up and wanted to buy it. So I said, man, once again, this is not a coincidence. So I took that $750, funded some of this, and I said, you know what? I want to do that real estate thing again. So I started doing homes again. My wife got a real estate license, so we started flipping homes together. Then we started building new construction homes together, and it really started going. Not many people know this, but we actually just filmed our first episode. My wife and I have our own show coming out on HGTV, building homes in Tampa.
So you're a GC? I think I've heard an
HGTV.
No, you're a GC?
I'm not a GC. Nope. No, I'm more, on the show, I'm kind of like a project manager, and she's a real estate agent. But no, it's crazy that back in 2007, 2008, I lost it all, and then now it's
So
Not a
you've already
coincidence.
filmed it all? And
Yeah,
it's
we
gonna
filmed
air
we filmed the
soon?
first episode in Seminole Heights. We built a home. And the name of the show is 90 Day Dream Home. So we build a home from the ground up in 90 days or less for the clients. And then, yeah. So kind of cool how life works out. So you're going to get discouraged along this journey of entrepreneurship. I have many times. I still do. But there's nothing else like it. I love it. And I feel like I'm with some like-minded people here. So love to talk to you guys afterwards. Thanks for having me. I'll probably come to more of these meetings. I enjoy it. So
Great. Thank you, Brian.